Brandon Smith, welcome. Look at him, he ran in the Race to Helix over at the Genetics Center, and apparently he ran all the way here after the race. Come on over around here, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Running, I think, is kind. I was the top speed walker in the race today. Some little kids passed me running by. I'm not really a runner. My wife is a runner, but it's been certainly a busy weekend in Greenwood. I'm hopping around from things. I've got to go to my wife's trash pickup, so I appreciate y'all fitting me in here to say a few words. Last night, did anybody go out and enjoy the music we had last night uptown? How about that? What an honor to have such an amazing, legendary group, such as the Blind Boys of Alabama here in Greenwood. That was a band that our late city councilwoman Patricia Partlow and I bonded over, and so it was really kind of in her memory, part of the series that you see in terms of acts, quality of life acts that we can use to bring people in, to show people how great Greenwood is. We had the Dirty Dozen Brass Band this time last year, Brandon Niederauer back in the spring, and the legendary Blind Boys Alabama. With music, you're never going to make everybody happy, but hopefully over time, everybody will see something that they enjoy. But anyway, the last 4 years have certainly been an interesting time to have your first foray into local government. We had a bit of a pause there because of coronavirus, and it was certainly frustrating because we had some initiatives that we really wanted to see through, and we took a bit of a pause. And so I'm at the point now where I feel I'm the eternal optimist, but I think a lot of y'all will join me in saying that we know Greenwood has a ton of potential. And as we springboard forward out of the coronavirus pandemic, I'm excited about what we're able to do. I'm always frustrated anytime we see violence pop its head up. We could hire 100 more police officers, but until we get to the root of the problem, we're basically spinning our wheels. Same thing with trash pickup. We can go out there and pick up trash all day long, but until we break that cycle, we're just going to be spinning our wheels. So getting to the root of the problem, one of the big things our focus on now is our youth. And touching those youth that are in communities that may experience real pressures that you and I may not understand. As much as I'd like to claim that I identify with that generation, I've got 3 boys at home that remind me every day that I do not understand it and do not relate to that generation. So that's why we have created this Mayor's Youth Council. It's something I can't claim to have come up with on my own. It's an idea that Pastor Grace Stallworth gave me several years ago, and I think it makes more sense now than ever, because we live in a time where we, as this generation, do not understand the pressures from social media and everything else that this next generation faces, more so probably than any other generation in history, with such rapid change. So the focus of this Mayor's Youth Council is threefold, is let us understand these unique challenges that you face and help us with ideas for how we can solve those problems. And the folks that have shown up are the ones that I want to understand why they have decided to be part of the solution, whereby their neighbor 2 houses down may be part of the problem, and how they escaped that to be in that room talking about ways to be part of the solution. Number 2, I want them to tell us ways we can retain our this next generation, the positive professionals and go-getters in that generation once their formal education has been completed, whether that's high school, whether that's technical college, whether that's a 4-year degree, whether that's a professional degree. I want to understand what it would take to keep you in Greenwood. Pie in the sky things that it would take, and then help them understand the realities of what we have to work with and how we can keep those that next generation of leaders here in Greenwood. And 3, we want to use it as a youth leadership program to be able to expose these youth to Greenwood and help them understand civics, simple things in terms of what city ward they live in, what county district they live in, how CPW works, how local government works, how their state legislature works. Get them involved, and in addition to healthcare, nonprofits, industry, help them understand how Greenwood plays a vital role in a global economy, and so that they can help identify the needs. Because what we see, this violence, which again, Greenwood's not unique to a lot of these problems. A lot of these problems are nationwide problems, but what we're trying to find is unique Greenwood solutions to these problems so that they can go into these communities and help us tackle these kind of sunbursts of problems. No one measure that we have taken or are prepared to take is a magic solution to any to gun violence, but each one plays a unique role. So it's been an honor to be mayor of, I believe, the greatest hometown in the greatest small city, large town in the world, and I would like to certainly see some things through. I would like to piggyback on what I just heard. I certainly believe, as Bill mentioned, the measure, and this is a little outside of my role, but in terms of what our city police are tasked with doing, sometimes it's their role to serve and protect and follow the law, of course, but it is absolutely time to revisit laws on medical marijuana and potentially even recreational marijuana. It's something that it would allow our officers. Again, we would love to hire some more officers, pay our officers what they're worth, but the realities of our budget are what they are. But it would certainly allow nonviolent offenses to our officers to work on things that would really keep us safe. Allow them to dedicate their attention to violent crime, which is really the issue that we deal with. So the ARPA money that we've received is going to go a long way to especially solving some of our technological needs in our police department in terms of capital needs that they have. While I'd love to say we could use that money to hire some more officers and we can move some money around to accomplish that to an extent, that money's good for 3 years. And so nobody really wants to go work a job that they know is only good for 3 years. But in any event, it's been, like I said, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I'm always available in representing all of Greenwood. Matthew, I think they just updated our website. My cell phone is not on there anymore, but I'm going to make sure our IT department updates that with my cell phone so that y'all know I'm accessible at any time, and please don't hesitate to contact me. But like I said, I would love to see some things that we've started, like to see those things through, and I would appreciate your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Mayor Smith? Do you have a minute?
Sure, yeah. I'm running to Tara's trash pickup, but I got a sec for sure.
All right. Anybody have a question for the mayor?
Well, like I said, I'm going to make sure all my contact information is back on our website. So if you do ever feel like having any questions, yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, thanks for taking my question. I'm not from here, but I have pretty good friends in Greenwood.
Welcome.
It seems to me, based on what I'm hearing today, that the crime rate has risen under your time in office, specifically under your most recent term. Given that you're running for re-election, do you feel you bear any responsibility for the rising crime rate?
Well, in terms of the crime rate, I could get Chief T.J. Shadoan up here to tell you how it actually hasn't risen. We don't always do a great job with how we publicize it. Now, any crime is too much crime for me. But this is not an issue that is unique to Greenwood. This is a nation, as I mentioned, it's a nationwide issue. But we're doing everything we can to come up with unique solutions for Greenwood. Greenwood is a unique place. It is the hub of a 7-county area without a larger metropolitan area within about a 60-mile radius and no interstate coming through here. So it's a unique place. We have about 250,000 people that from the 6 surrounding counties that come into Greenwood on any one day. So we have a unique community, but the issues that we face, like I said, this is not a Greenwood problem. This is a nationwide problem. But what we are special with in Greenwood is coming up with unique Greenwood solutions to those problems. We have some gang activity. And again, our focus is getting to the root of these problems. I think the coronavirus pandemic, unfortunately, led to folks being cooped up and again, nationwide, and we saw a rise in crime across the country. So Chief Shadoan can give you better statistics in terms of how crime has not actually risen, and specifically violent crime. But like I said, it is notable. It's front page in our community when it does happen, and any crime is unacceptable to me. So the buck does stop here, and we're going to continue to fight tirelessly and Chief Shadoan has been an amazing advocate for being a community-minded police department to make sure that folks in communities don't feel scared to speak up when they say something. So, like I said, I will tell you that the buck stops here, and we will continue to fight tirelessly. We'll never be satisfied until we.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Mayor, I have a question. Oh, we have another question over here. Let me go get to that.
My question is, how much power do you have over the police department for training? I asked this question to the sit-in chief when he was there. I think he's got the job now. Do we have sensitivity training for our police officers? And is that something that you can control, or does that come from someone else?
Well, I'm certainly extremely involved in all departments. I try not to micromanage. We have great leadership with our city manager and now a second assistant city manager, which is going to help us follow through on some of our initiatives. But to answer your question, the training that our police officers have, I will tell you, our police department, we see over, and especially highlighted in the summer of 2020, we saw a lot of problems that resulted in necessary discussions and reforms in police departments and law enforcement agencies across the country. I will tell you, any agency, any department run by human beings is going to be imperfect. But I'm very proud of the training that our police officers got. We are CALEA certified, I believe. Matthew, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say one of 8 departments in the state that are CALEA certified. And we were CALEA certified. Those 8 or 9 steps that were pushed back in the summer of 2020, we'd had those in place for years under the leadership of Gerald Brooks. And Chief Shadoan has kept those in place. And the training, there is some standardized training with the criminal justice system, but the training that we receive and the standards that we set have been in place. And so I can't guarantee you our police department's always going to be perfect, but I am very happy with the work that Chief Shadoan has done and the training that those officers
Yes,
have received.
but as you were saying, the children today are not the children that we were. And if we're using old, outdated rules and regulations as to how we are going to treat these children, we are outdated too. And I'm still saying the same thing. I just don't feel, and I must say, for me personally, yes, I have saw it because I saw it in my own home when I had a granddaughter that was running away. They were very good to me and wanted to come and sit and talk with her. And it was just a wonderful experience because I live in the county, so I was dealing with the county. But I still feel that sensitivity towards these young people we may not have it. Our police officers, are we sure that they are being sensitized to these young people and the way the young people think? Because if we're using rules that we've been using for the last 40 or 30 or 40 years, it's not going to work for our young people today.
Well, you're right. It is absolutely a different day and age. And if there are any specific instances of the Greenwood Police Department not lacking sensitivity in any way, I would certainly always like to know about that. But I think the world of Chief Gerald Brooks. He was our police chief for 28 years and served in law enforcement for about 40 years. And can't say enough about him. He's recipient of the Order of the Palmetto. But sometimes it is an opportunity to get some new blood in there. And I am extremely excited about the work that Chief Shadoan has done with community-minded 21st century police, law enforcement tactics. And we continue to, in addition to that, you're right, we continue to seek solutions to diversify our police department to make sure that it reflects the community that it serves. It's not easy. Right now, we're having a difficult time with our budget and restraints, and sometimes the attitude towards law enforcement, hiring anybody. We'd love to hire, and especially now, it's very frustrating, and Bill, maybe you'll see this in a few weeks. What we're faced with in terms of being competitive in hiring law enforcement officers is we're competing with the state. The state of South Carolina now is hiring SLED officers and state public safety officers and paying them about $15,000 to $20,000 more than we can pay. And it's something that from a state level, we continue to be frustrated with the state competing against really local governments where the rubber meets the road. And so while I'm sure those law enforcement officers are glad to be paid what they are at a state level, we would love for the state to help us out to be able to recruit and hire additional officers and additional training as well. But like I said, I am excited about the opportunities under Chief Shadoan, but if you ever have any specific instances, please let me know. Yes, Ms. Jackson.
Crime can't be cured alone by police, for heaven's sakes. Crime starts 12, 15, 18 years earlier. We have to start building a better community for raising our children. That's a very different thing from trying to catch them or somehow persuade them at 18 and 23 that they should live a different way of life. We aren't giving them the attention they need when they are 2 and 6 and 7. We need very, very small first and second grade classrooms. We need a better food system for all of them. A lot of our children are hungry. A lot of our children in Greenwood are growing up without a house, without a place to live. And until we work on that kind of problem, we can't solve crime problems among adults.
You're exactly right. And
Barbara Jackson, you're echoing my words forever. I have thought to go into communities where children have no hope. We have to go there. And I helped out at the soup kitchen, and I would stand and look at the people in the soup kitchen, and I wondered, what if, when they were 6 or little, or someone put their hand on their shoulders and told them how wonderful they were and what a beautiful, perfect gift they were to our world and our community, how many would be at the soup kitchen?
you're exactly right.
That's where it stands.
And there's been certainly a lack of positive male and female role models in our community for a while. That's why I think being part of bringing the Boys and Girls Club to Greenwood for the last 5 years is something that I'm very proud of. But that's one step. Again, our nonprofit leaders throughout the city of Greenwood and Greenwood County are going to be vital to this. If you're looking for government to solve all the problems, you're going to be disappointed. So that's why it takes churches, Reverend Norman and Bishop McCrae and the churches to lead by example here. I know y'all do amazing jobs in that regard, but our nonprofit agencies, in terms of providing positive male and female role models, that's the goal. That is where we break that cycle and get to the root of the problems.
Mayor, we thank you for the time you've spent.
Yeah.
Do you have time for another question?
Sure.
I understand violence is a nationwide problem. There are some facts about South Carolina. We are 43rd in the nation when it comes to violent crime rates. We're horrible. 7th worst in the nation. We are number 5 in the nation when it comes to children killed through gun violence. Right? These are facts about South Carolina as a whole. I appreciate how you reached out to the legislative delegation and local leaders to create a forum to solve those problems. Do you care to describe how that process went or the response you got from the legislative delegation?
Sure. And I know we've got Representative Parks in here, and I appreciate her always being attentive. Sometimes, I do get a little frustrated with some of the response that we get in terms of just kicking the can down the road back to us. One thing, I think y'all, but having said that, I'm not going to disregard a proposal just out of spite either. And so one of the things you saw us pass recently was a 2 a.m. ordinance to close bars at 2 a.m. I can't, while I certainly understand the rights of business owners, I defy anybody to tell me how we have a robust economy in Greenwood between 2 and 6 a.m. that would suffer as a result of that. And again, I want to say that's not a magic solution to all our problems. If there's another shooting and they say that was outside of the bar scene and say, aha, that ordinance didn't solve everything. Well, I'm here to tell you, we understand that it's not a magic solution, but it's one piece of the puzzle. But one thing I hope you will see is some work on bond reform and the fact that I won't even call him an adult that shot and killed a young lady at Uptown Grill on July 9th. I believe that young lady would still be alive today had that man's case from 2017 been adjudicated one way or the other. Perhaps he was innocent of shooting 4 people at the Raging Rooster. The shooting July 9th leads me to believe that was probably unlikely, but perhaps he was innocent. But had his case been adjudicated one way or the other, I believe Keona Hill would still be alive today.
That's right.
And that's because that case, as we sit here right now, is still not slated for trial, the one from 2017. And I come to you as a lawyer myself. Now, I've never been a criminal defense lawyer, and I understand that everyone deserves the right to an attorney and quality defense, but the lawyer-legislator exemption in South Carolina, and maybe I feel like I'm the only lawyer sitting up here saying that, but the fact that that Mr. Longshore is represented by a state senator and has been able to get his case continued indefinitely, I believe, and of course the fact that Mr. Longshore violated the terms of his release on a number of occasions and still didn't get locked up is a travesty to our.
Totally agree. Thank you, Mayor Smith, for your time. Appreciate it. Well done.